Hey everyone. This is one of those posts I never thought I'd have to make, but here we are. I, 34M, have been married to my wife, 32F, for just under 7 years. It hasn't been a perfect marriage, but I always thought we were solid. You know, regular ups and downs, nothing too crazy. We don't have kids, which honestly, looking back, might be the biggest blessing in disguise. So I work full-time in IT, and I've been swamped the last 6 months. Long hours, back-to-back projects, barely time to eat dinner most nights. Meanwhile, my wife, let's call her Rachel, has been out of work since she got laid off 10 months ago. At first, I encouraged her to take time, figure things out, maybe even start that Etsy shop she always talked about. But that time turned into binge-watching reality TV, online shopping with my credit card, and literally zero effort to look for a job. Anytime I brought it up, it turned into a fight. She'd accuse me of not supporting her, of wanting her to work like a man, whatever that means. Our house is old, lots of little things need fixing. Loose cabinets, broken tiles, squeaky door hinges, stuff I wanted to fix, but I just didn't have the time. So, I did what most people would do, I hired help. I found this service called Husband for an Hour, basically a handyman who comes in and knocks out a list of odd jobs. Rachel actually found the site and suggested it, saying, maybe he'll actually fix the things you've been ignoring. That stung, but I let it slide. I booked the guy for 2 sessions, both when I'd be at the office. First session went fine, or so I thought. When I came home, things looked better, cabinet doors aligned, the leaky faucet stopped dripping. Rachel was in a surprisingly good mood that night, even made dinner, which she hadn't done in weeks. I thought, hey, maybe this is turning things around. I was wrong. Very wrong. So after that first Husband for an Hour visit, things seemed better. Rachel was suddenly nice. Like too nice. Making dinner, doing laundry, even dressing up to just chill around the house. At first, I chalked it up to her feeling more productive now that stuff around the house was finally getting done. But then I noticed some weird changes. First, she was glued to her phone, constantly texting but flipping it over the second I walked by. If I asked who she was talking to, she'd say stuff like, "Ugh, just Lisa. She's annoying. I know Lisa. Lisa's not funny enough to make her laugh like that." Second, she started wearing makeup. At home. At noon. Just lounging around in eyeliner and lipstick like she's waiting to be interviewed. I asked about it once and she snapped, "Maybe I like looking good for myself for once. Not that you'd notice either way." Okay, cool. Defensive much? Then came the second Husband for an Hour session. This time, I decided to leave a bit later than usual for work. Said I had a Zoom meeting from home to buy me some time. The guy shows up, mid-30s, kind of buff, bit too smug. Calls himself Mark. I let him in, give him the list of what still needs fixing, and tell him Rachel knows the rest. As I'm about to leave, I catch him giving her this look, not professional, more like I've already seen what you look like naked kinda look. She giggled. Freakin' giggled like a teenager. I remember sitting in my car that morning thinking, nah. No way. I'm paranoid. I wish I was. The day I found out wasn't some dramatic movie scene. It was quiet. Almost stupidly quiet. I had a gut feeling something was off, so I told work I was taking the day off to catch up on some personal stuff. Didn't tell Rachel, of course, wanted to see things for what they really were. I pulled into the driveway around 11 a.m. Her car was there. So was his van. You know, the one with Husband for an Hour, fast, friendly repairs, plastered on the side in Comic Sans. It was parked slightly crooked, like he rushed in. I left the car parked a few houses down, walked up quietly, and tried the front door. Locked. That was new. She never locked it during the day. I used my key, stepped inside, and it was dead silent, not a tool in sight, no banging, no power drill noises. Just silence and soft footsteps above me. Then I heard the laugh. His. Then hers. I walked up the stairs slowly, feeling like I was floating. I don't know how to describe it, man, like every step I took was further into a life I didn't recognize anymore. I got to our bedroom door. It was cracked open. I didn't even have to push it. I saw her. I saw him. She was straddling him, topless, both of them laughing like they were in some cheesy rom-com. My heart dropped to the floor, took my stomach with it. When she saw me, she froze. His face turned pale like someone had pulled the plug on his soul. And then, I kid you not, she rolled her eyes. Rolled. Her. Freaking. Eyes. Like I was the one interrupting her day. She had the audacity to shout, "Why are you home?" That was the moment I realized I didn't know who I'd married anymore. So there I am, standing in the doorway, watching my wife in our bed with a guy we literally hired off the internet to fix the garbage disposal. And instead of shame or panic, she goes straight to anger. "I wouldn't have had to call someone if you actually did things around the house," she snapped. "Yanking on a robe like that would make this situation any better." I was stunned. Speechless. The guy, the husband for an hour, was scrambling to get dressed, trying to explain, "Hey man, I didn't know she was married," which was total BS because I saw my wedding photo on the nightstand as he was pulling up his pants. Rachel turned to me like I was the villain here. "You're always working. You're never home. The sink's been leaking for 2 weeks. The porch lights out. The door creaks. What did you expect?" What did I expect? "Oh, I don't know, not this." She accused me of being emotionally unavailable and said she needed to feel desired again. Like hooking up with some dude named Kyle who charges $45 an hour was the only logical next step. I couldn't believe the words coming out of her mouth. I was just trying to provide, trying to build a future. Meanwhile, she was building a side romance with a dude who owns more cargo shorts than brain cells. No apology. No remorse. Just blame. That was when the anger started to creep in. Slow and steady, like lava rising in my chest. I didn't yell. I didn't even move. I just looked at her and said, "I hope he fixed the sink. You two are gonna be spending a lot of time in this house without me." And I walked out. The silence after I left the house was deafening. I didn't slam the door. I didn't scream. I just left. I sat in my car in the driveway for what felt like forever. No music. No calls. Just me, the soft hum of the engine, and my heartbeat punching through my chest like it was trying to escape too. I couldn't process it. My wife, the woman I shared my life with, the one who promised to have my back through everything, just looked me in the eye and blamed me for her cheating. It wasn't just betrayal. It was disrespect on a level I didn't think she was even capable of. I kept replaying everything. The skipped kisses. The way she'd brush off my texts during the day. The excuses about not feeling well when I'd try to be intimate. All those things I chalked up to stress, or boredom, or whatever, they were signs. Big, red, waving flags I ignored like a damn fool. I crashed at my buddy Nate's place that night. Didn't tell him everything, just that things were bad at home. I couldn't even get the words out yet without feeling like my throat was closing in on itself. I wanted to cry. I wanted to rage. But I was just numb. Worse than that, I felt ashamed, like I was somehow at fault. Like I'd failed. And that's a hell of a place to be when you've done nothing but try to hold it all together. I didn't sleep. I stared at the ceiling, trying to figure out what my next move was supposed to be. Part of me still wanted to go home. Talk it out. try to salvage what was left. But the bigger part of me? It was starting to realize that this marriage might already be dead. And I wasn't the one who killed it. I wish I could say I woke up the next morning feeling clearer. I didn't. I felt like roadkill, emotionally flattened, barely recognizable. But the part of me that was done being a doormat finally kicked in. I had questions. I needed answers. So, I did what any half-sane husband teetering on the edge would do, I snooped. I went back home while she was at her yoga class, a class I now suspected was probably just code for whatever the hell she was doing behind my back. I checked her laptop. She never logged out of her email, which, big mistake. And that's when I saw everything. Emails. Messages. Even a Google Calendar invite titled, Droplet Plumbing and Chill with Mike Droplet. Who the hell adds emojis to their adultery appointments? It had been going on for 3 months. Not just the husband for an hour guy either, turns out she had a rotation. Mike the handyman, Ben the real estate consultant, and some dude saved in her phone as tire guy eggplant. You can use your imagination there. That's when the rage finally hit. Not because she cheated, that part had already crushed me. But because she planned it. She coordinated it. She made fun of me in the messages. One of the texts said, "He's always too busy fixing everyone else's homes. At least I get this guy to fix mine, winking face. I sat there, in our living room, my living room, surrounded by furniture I paid for, bills I cover, a life I built, and I felt like a ghost in my own damn house. This wasn't just betrayal. It was humiliation. And it lit a fuse. Not the kind that explodes violently. The kind that burns slow, steady, and leads to something big. After the emails and texts, I knew there was no coming back from this. But I also knew I couldn't just blow up and walk away. That's what she expected. She thought I'd be too broken to think straight. Nah. I decided to be strategic. I contacted a lawyer the next day. Laid it all out, the infidelity, the messages, the timeline. He told me to stay cool, gather more, and not tip her off, we'd use it all. I started documenting everything. Screenshots. Dates. Even security cam footage from the smart doorbell, which, ironically, I had installed while she was busy with Mike inside. I pretended like things were normal at home. I kissed her on the cheek. I asked about her day. I even cooked dinner. She thought I was clueless again. Honestly? She looked relieved, like she'd dodged the bullet. Then came the real twist. Remember how I mentioned earlier that her little handyman had a wife? Yeah. I found her. Facebook is a hell of a tool. I messaged her, let's call her Alicia, with all the proof I had. At first, she didn't believe me. I sent her the screenshots. Her response? Meet me. We met at a diner, swapped war stories over coffee like two soldiers comparing battle scars. She was devastated but fiery, and when I told her about the rotation my wife had, her jaw hit the table. We decided on a plan. Alicia invited my wife to a girls' brunch she was supposedly hosting at her place. My wife, who never missed a chance to pretend she had social value, jumped at it. The real surprise came when she arrived and I was sitting in the living room next to Alicia, sipping coffee like it was just another Saturday. The look on her face was pure panic. She tried to bolt, but Alicia locked the door behind her and said, "You'll want to hear him out first." That's when I stood up and said, "You're not just a liar. You're lazy, angry, and cruel. And now you're exposed. To me, to her, to everyone." And I walked out. Didn't scream. Didn't cuss. I left her sitting there like the confused, embarrassed mess she turned herself into. After that final showdown at Alicia's place, everything moved fast. My lawyer filed for divorce the same week. She didn't even contest it. What could she say? The evidence was stacked against her like a tower of bad decisions. She tried to call me, message me, even sent a long email explaining how she felt neglected, unloved, blah blah blah. Classic deflection. Not once did she take real accountability. Not once did she say, "I hurt you." I didn't reply. I'd already given her too much of my energy. I moved into a small apartment at first. It was weird being alone, I won't lie. Quiet. Too quiet some nights. But the peace? The peace was unreal. No passive-aggressive sighs. No random outbursts because she was hangry again. No walking on eggshells because I didn't unload the dishwasher fast enough. Just quiet. And healing. Alicia and I? We stayed in touch. Not romantically, just two people who went through hell via the same set of flames. She divorced Mike too. I heard he's living in a cheap hotel now, whining about how women don't appreciate nice guys. Whatever, Mike. The craziest part? I'm grateful this happened. Yeah, it sucked. It broke me for a bit. But it also forced me to wake up. To realize that loving someone doesn't mean tolerating emotional abuse. That being faithful doesn't make you weak, and that walking away, with your dignity, is the strongest move you can make. So, to anyone reading this who's feeling that gut punch of betrayal. You are not crazy. You are not overreacting. You are not to blame for someone else's choice to lie. Get your proof. Get your team. Keep your head. And when you walk away, do it with your chest high and your peace intact. You'll heal. I promise. And when you do, you'll never let anyone dim your light again.